Good day. Today we will be looking at November 2022, paper 2, question 3. Okay, let's read our question first. It says, in the diagram, A, which is here, is 4 to 2, B is 6 to -4, and C is -2 to -3. They are vertices of triangle ABC. T is the midpoint of CB, so CT and TB are equal. The equation of line AC is 5x minus 6y is equal to 8. The angle of inclination of AB is alpha. Triangle DCT is drawn such that CD is parallel to AB, and the lines AC and DT intersect at S, which is the y-intercept of AC. P, F, and R are x-intercepts of DC, AB, and AC. Okay, let's just highlight what we have gotten so far. So what they have said to us is we know A, B, and C. They tell us the equation of AC, which is this line, is 5x minus 6y is equal to 8. They also tell us that we have an angle of inclination alpha. They also tell us that CD and AB are parallel. And they tell us that, I think I skipped it, but T is the midpoint. So this is equal to this. Okay, let's take a look at our first question, which says calculate the gradient of AB. That should be fairly easy. We have A coordinates and we have B coordinates. So 3.1.1, we are calculating the gradient of AB. Our equation for gradient, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can refer to your formula sheet, but for analytical geometry, you should know these formula to save yourself some time. Your gradient formula, midpoint formula is fairly easy. Distance you can refer to ensure you don't make any errors. So let's write out our coordinates as well so we don't get confused. A is 4 to 2 and B is 6 to -4. So we're first working with y values. -4 minus 2. Be careful of signs. 6 minus 4. So that is going to be equal to -6 over 2, which is equal to -3. So your gradient for AB is -3. The next question says calculate the size of alpha, so my angle of inclination. And how do I calculate an angle of inclination? This is something that you have to know from trig. Tan alpha is equal to the gradient of AB. And we got that to be -3. So we're going to use our calculators now. Shift tan, -3. -3. Okay, sorry. Shift tan, -3. And you take that answer and you say 180 minus that. Minus your answer. So let's go back. Our answer was 71.56. So we're going to say 180 minus 71.56. 108.43. Don't round off though, because only your final answer is supposed to be rounded off. So let's do it again. Shift tan, -3. We get 71. Go to at least 5 decimal places. 56505. And then we need to say 180 degrees minus 71.56505, which is equal to 0.56505, 108.43, 3 degrees. Okay, and that's alpha. Next question says find the coordinates of t. And that should also be fairly easy because they told us that it's the midpoint and these two lines are equal. So we're finding the midpoint of C and B. So 3.1.3, we're finding t, which is the midpoint. We need to use x of C plus x of B over 2. My y value is y of C plus y of B over 2. So my x of C is negative 2. My y and my x of B is positive 6 over 2. Y of C is negative 3. Y of B is negative 4 over 2. So for my x value, it's going to be minus 2 plus 6, which is negative 4 over, positive 4 over 2. And here it's going to be negative 7 over 2. So my final answer, which is my coordinates for t, is going to be 2, 7 over 2. Okay, let's write that in. So t is 2, negative 7 over 2. Okay, let's take a look at our next question. The next question says find the coordinates of S. And what did they give us about this line AC? They gave us the equation. And looking at S, how does S relate to this line AC? It is the y coordinate because it is on the y-axis. So firstly, we're going to have to rearrange this equation, or we can just substitute straight into it because y is 0, we want to find the y-intercept. So we're going to make x equal to 0. The equation is 5x minus 6y is equal to 8. Let's substitute 0. So this becomes 0. I'm going to be left with negative 6y is equal to 8. Divide by negative 6 on both sides. Y is therefore equal to negative 8 over 6, which can be further simplified to negative 4 over 3. So my coordinates of S is going to be 0, negative 4 over 3. Let's also write that in. So it's 0, negative 4 over 3. Okay. Let's take a look at our next question. The next question, which is 3.2, says determine the equation of CD, here is CD, in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Now always when you need to find an equation, you need two things, the gradient and the y-intercept, which is c. So what do we have? We can find the gradient because we have already drawn that those two lines are parallel, and we previously already found the gradient of AB to be negative 3, and parallel lines have the same gradient. So gradient CD is equal to gradient AB, which is negative 3, and the reason is because CD is parallel to AB. Now that we have the gradient, it's fairly easy to find our y-intercept. We're going to substitute the values of c, which is negative 2, negative 3. So negative 3 is equal to, my gradient is negative 3, my x value is negative 2 plus c. Negative 3, negative 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus c. And we are now going to take this to the other side. Oh, this is positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 3 minus 6 is equal to c. So c is therefore equal to 9. So my equation is going to be y is equal to negative 3x minus 9. Okay. The last part of our question, the first one, says calculate the size of DCA. So where's DCA? Here's DCA. So we're looking for this angle here. Because we drew those parallel lines, I know that that angle is going to be equal to that angle, alternating angles. So if we are able to find that angle, we'll be able to find that angle. But I don't know what that angle is. But here, looking at my question, I can see a triangle. And I know this angle A because we calculated previously to be 108.43. So I can use exterior angle of a triangle if I knew that angle and that angle. If I just find this angle, I can find that angle. And how can I find F? Well, I know the equation, the gradient of AC. I know this equation. And gradient of AC, we can use angle of inclination to find the answer for F. So let's go back and take a look at what is the grade, what is AC. The equation of AC is 5x minus 6y is equal to 8. So we're going to have to rearrange that into standard form so we can find the gradient. So negative 6y is equal to 8 minus 5x. Going to divide by 6 on both sides. Going to have minus y is equal to 8 over 6 minus 5 over 6x. Swap over my signs. Y is equal to positive 5 over 6x minus 8 over 6. So my gradient therefore is 5 over 6. So I'm going to use that 5 over 6 now to find the angle of inclination here at F. So tan theta, I'm going to label that theta, is equal to the gradient of AC, which is 5 over 6. So let's find it. Shift tan 5 over 6 is equal to 39.81. We don't minus 180 here because it's beneath the line, so we're not subtracting this from 180. But now we can find what the value of angle A is. We can say in triangle AFR, alpha plus theta, which you can label, plus angle, sorry about that, alpha, which is my exterior angle, is equal to theta plus angle A. I know alpha is 108.43. I found my theta, which is 39.81, and I want angle A. So that's going to be fairly easy. We just subtract. So 108.43 degrees minus 39.81 degrees minus 39.81. This is equal to 68.62 degrees. That is what we got for A. Now you have to conclude. So you have to say angle A is equal to angle DCA, and your reason is alternating angles, and state your parallel lines. DC parallel to AB. Okay, we have one more question that we have to do, and it says calculate the area of POSC. So they're creating a shape. Let's erase this now that we're done with it. They're wanting us to calculate the area of POSC. Okay, so that shape there. So there's various ways that we can calculate this. I'm going to explain two methods that I was able to see and that I also find to be the fairly easy. So the first method that one can do is we can take the area of triangle FPC. Do you see that the whole triangle FPC, I'm going to use colors to demonstrate what I'm saying. Okay, so in yellow here is what we are calculating. But I'm saying that the first method that we can use to calculate this question is we can use this whole triangle FPC. We can find the area of that triangle and we can subtract it by the smaller triangle of FOS, and then we should get this area of this shape here. That's the first method. So let's work with that first. So what I'm saying is we're going to take the area of triangle FPC, this big triangle, minus the small triangle, minus the area of triangle FOS. Okay, and that should give us the area of POSC. In order to do that, we need bases and heights. Okay, so let's take a look at what we know, what we don't know. We know that F is now the x-intercept of that equation, and we calculated the standard form to be f over 5 over 6 minus 8 over 6. Therefore, f is the x-intercept of that equation, which we can calculate. Okay, so the equation in our standard form is, so we're trying to find f, so y is equal to 5 over 6x minus 8 over 6, and we want to find the x-intercept, so we're going to make y 0, take the 8 over the 6 to the other side, equal to 5 over 6x, positive. So we're going to divide both sides by 5 over 6. So 8 over 6 divided by 5 over 6 is going to give me 1.6. So x is equal to 1.6. So my coordinates for f is 1.6 to 0. Okay. O is 0. We know S. We know C. And what's P? P how would we find P? Oh, we found the equation of CD in our previous question, and we found it to be negative 3x minus 9. So for P, y is equal to negative 3x minus 9. Once again, we're finding the y-intercept, the x-intercept. 9 is negative 3x, so x is going to be equal to negative 3. So now we know that P is negative 3 is to 0. So we have all our coordinates to work out this question. So let's get to working it out. So I'm basically doing what I said here. Area of triangle FPC minus area of triangle FOS. But we need bases and heights. So quickly take a look at what your bases and heights are going to be. Okay, so with the first triangle, FPC, my base is going to be the length from P to F. So from P, let's draw our coordinates of P is negative 3, 0. and F is 1.60. Remember, I explained this in the June 2022 video, I think, where when you have an axis and you want to find the length along the x-axis, you add your x values. So here we have -3 and we've got 1.6. We're using units, so we're not going to take into account the signs. So from P to O, it's 3 units, and from O to F, it's 1.6. So the distance, so my base from P to F is going to be 3 plus 1.6, which is 4.6, and that is the base for this question. My height for FPC is going to be we're going to find the height from a point here going down. So that will be a perpendicular point, and that is going to give me 3 units. So from 0 to 3. Remember, now we are using y values. So that is going to be my height. So for my first triangle, it's going to be half 4.6 times 3. The next triangle, which we are subtracting, is OFS. So I can see already the base is going to be 1.6 and my height is going to be 4/3. So half of 1.6, 4/3. Let's solve the first part. 1/2 times 4.6 times 3, 6.9, minus half 1.6 times 4/3, 1.07, and my final answer is going to be 6.9 plus 1 minus 1.07, 5.83 units squared, because we are finding area. Okay, the other method that I said I was going to explain, the other method involves drawing out the diagram. I feel that this is a slightly complex method, but I wanted to explain 2 alternate methods in case somebody didn't understand the first one. So we said we are calculating POSC. Okay, so what you can do is you can draw it out. So P to O, going down to S, going down to C, and then going up to P. So here's P, here's O, here's S, here's C. Then what we did originally is we drew a line going down to create a perpendicular. Let's label that R. And we drew a line across W to create a shape. My shape is not very accurate here. No, it is. Okay, so we're not going to go across, we're going to stop there at W. So what we are going to do, another method that you could do, is you can find the area of this triangle first. Then you can find the area of, give me a second, of this triangle next, which is WSC, and then you can find the area of this rectangle. Using the coordinates that you already have. So let's quickly take a look. I'm not going to go into too much depth here because you should be able to do this. So P is -3, 0. This is 0. So this distance is 3 units. Going down, -2, -3, and S is 0, negative 4 over 3. So from W to S, it's going to be 2 units because C is at negative 2. So that is going to mean this is going to be 2 units. And from W to C, it's at 0, so it's going to be 3 units. And using that, you can calculate it. You're going to basically say area of POSC is equal to area of, the first thing is ROSW plus area of triangle PRC plus area of triangle WSC. So the first one is just a rectangle, so it's going to be, my height is 4 over 3, my base is 2. The next one is a triangle, half, the base is 1, the height of the whole thing is 3. The next one is half, the base is 2, the height over here, you've got to take 3 and subtract it by this distance, which is 4 over 3, and that will give you 5 over 3. And if you add all of that together, it should give you 35 over 6, which is 5.83 units squared. Okay, quickly going through mark allocation. This question was 5 marks. You did get a mark for method, so whatever method you used. In this question, you got a mark for the P coordinate and for each of the separate 3 sections, and then the answer. So 5 marks. The previous method that I explained, you get a mark once again for the P value, a mark for the method that you used, a mark for each of these, and then a mark for your answer. So 5 marks for either method. The previous question where we had to find the angle was 4 marks. And in this question, you got a mark for the tan being equal to 5 over 6, a mark for the angle, a mark for angle A, and a mark for stating that angle A is equal to that angle because of alternating angles, 4 marks. The previous question, 3.2, these ones were fairly easy. We just had to find the equation here, a mark for the gradient, a mark for substitution, and a mark for your answer. 3.1.4, we found the values of S, so 1 mark for X being equal to 0 and another mark for the value, just 2 marks. 3.1.3, a mark for your X and your Y value, just 2 marks. Here a mark for tan and a mark for your answer, 2 marks. And the first one for substitution and your answer, 2 marks. And in total, this question was out of 20. Thank you.